So you mentioned like Little Amber and Little Tashara, right? We didn't have the words to put to these identity conversations that we needed to have, especially growing up. So I guess I want to ask you more about what was kind of the push for you to start this organization? Obviously Little Amber, but what else was the push? Like, what were you seeing? This was in 2014 when you were like, no, we gonna make this happen, right? Yeah. What were you guys seeing, you and other community leaders, that needed to have a discussion? Because I know what we're dealing with in 2024, which is crazy. We gonna get into some of that. So I know what we're dealing with now, but in 2014, I was just moving back to Texas from Chicago, got my first job on air in 2014 as a journalist. I don't even remember half of the stuff that was happening in 2014. So what pushed you guys to be like, no, we need to do some work?
Yeah, so there was a national conference. It's called the Facing Race Conference that came to Dallas. It was the first time that it was in the South, which is interesting because we know that most Black people are in the South.
Correct.
And so when we think about the work and where we're doing the work, we can't forget about the South. The South has something to say. Always. And this was supposed to be a one-time thing. All of us had jobs. But what we realized was students were craving a space where they felt like their voices could be heard and used. And so we continued the work, y'all. I was working, this job, that job. And when 2020 happened,
oh boy,
it really opened up something to be like, as Black women, yes, we do try to do it all, but the doing it all is going to...
Baby, it's gonna put us in the ground.
It's gonna put you in the ground. Thank you. No euphemisms needed. Okay.
Right.
And so really beginning to think about what it looked like to give the work full time.
Yeah.
And beginning to speak that into existence. I know you were one of the first people, that I talked to around, can I do this? And having that community to be like, yes. Yeah. And got some grants, baby, and just said, I'll make up the rest. I know how to make money. And so in 2021, I went full time. And I'm going on 4 years, which is wild.
Baby, you better say that. She left corporate America.
Baby. Okay.
Got up out of here.
Right. And now have a staff, have a team, have been fundraising. And I think it's, it's been a betting on myself in ways that I hadn't even fully welcomed.
Talk about it.
Right. And it's one thing to be working a job. Yeah. It's another thing to be putting something together every day and touching it and saying, I did this. And then, for it to still be here. Yeah. And we've faced a lot of adversity and challenges in our work. I mean, right after I quit my job, I said, Lord,
come on.
The book banning started, the anti-CRT stuff happened. And it was just like, but, God told me that he's going to keep me. And even in 2024, he has told me that he's going to keep me.
People talk about having faith, baby.
That, but I'm like, okay, the control part of me, the Capricorn, we coming up on our season is like the how. But I've also had to let go of that, wanting to know exactly how it's going to be done, but knowing that like I'm